Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, I call it like a stone because that's exactly what one of our major indices did this last week from Wednesday through Friday. It dropped like a stone. So we're going to start off and talk about the ETF dashboard that I walk through with my members every weekend. And we'll walk through that real quick here at the beginning of the video. Then we'll take a look at the Dow Transports and take a look at a comparison between the Dow Transports and the Dow Industrials and look at the 5 biggest movers within the Dow Transports as they dropped like a stone these last 3 days. It was primarily in the trucking and railroad area, but primarily the truckers, and we'll take a look at that. Apparently, what I've heard, Jim Cramer came on at the end of the day after the market closed and said he had been making a bunch of phone calls, found out that what the word was that people were saying that contract rates have been dropping significantly, freight rates over the last 3 weeks. But then what else came out was the Labor Department had talked about trucking transportation jobs and that the number of trucking jobs fell in the month of March after 21 consecutive months of gains. And the last time they dropped was April 2020, right as we were entering the whole COVID crisis. So it's going to be a real interesting dynamic to see what's happening. We'll take a look at the transports here in just a minute, but let's start off here with the ETF dashboard. This week, I track 16 sectors. Okay, I know we have the main 11 S&P 500 sectors, and then I've got a few other kind of subsectors in here. For example, semiconductors within XLK. Okay, so I know that they're both technology related. This is the S&P sector, and this is another like subsector. Same thing with IBB versus healthcare. So of the 16 sectors, 7 were up, 9 were down. Last week, 11 were up, 5 were down. The week before that, 15 were up and 1 were down. So we've seen the deterioration over the last couple of weeks here. We'll see how this next week goes. Do we see, are we getting continuation? We're kind of looking for a turn right now, and we may have got a little peak. We'll see. So right now, the leader this last week to the upside was real estate. IWR was the biggest percentage mover, edging out utilities and the NASDAQ biotech. To the downside, semiconductors minus 3.6%. Now for the year to date, 3 months, we have 2 sectors that are positive right now. Energy at whopping 38.8% and utilities 5.5%. Everything else is in the red, and the leader to the downside is home builders. They're just getting killed, down to almost 26%. When we look at the indices, here's the leaders, the Russell 2000 ETF and the NASDAQ 100, the Qs, up 0.7% for the week. But then the Dow was slightly negative, the S&P 500 basically flat. They're all negative for the year, as you all know, and the NASDAQ 100 is the weakest one of those 4. In emerging markets, Brazil continues to be on fire this year. I mean, just exploding to the upside. I do think it's oil related in terms of what they're doing, but they had a pretty negative year last year. So up 3.8% this last week. Everything was positive this week. And right on its tail was FXI, which is, I say China, Hong Kong, because the vast majority or a good portion of what's in FXI are large caps on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. So the leader to the upside here for the year, here's Brazil, and then FXI is the weakest so far. Commodities, oil, natural gas, look at the difference here. Natural gas leading to the upside. Oil had a rough week this last week. A little bit of a mixed picture. Copper was kind of flat. And then everything is positive naturally for the way things have been going this year. And natural gas up, man, 59% for the year. That's UNG. I've got it asterisk because it's a little bit of an anomaly that it's not a pure play kind of thing in terms of the way they're doing the futures contracts within UNG. Currency, we've got the dollar was weak, which I think helped contribute to the emerging markets being positive. But a little bit of a mixed picture in here also. Here's the yen, or the yuan positive, the yen weak, And then look at the euro, and then the British pound weak also, and it was the weakest one. The yen's been getting killed, and I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it's kind of fallen off a cliff the last month or so. And when you look at Bitcoin ETF, the GBTC up 6% for the week, but still negative for the year. And then when we look at the bond picture, here's TLT. Emerging market debt, wow. I mean, that really came in strong this last week. And then, but everything is in the red, and it is the leader to the downside for the year. So that's the snapshot that we walk through every week on the ETF dashboard. Let's dive in and take a look at that transport index. Okay, first of all, let's just do a side-by-side here. I'll take the crosshairs off. Here's the Dow Industrials, here's the transports. You can see where the transports peaked back over here on November 2nd. And when was that? That was when, I think it was Avis, rental car, said, oh, by the way, we're going to have electric vehicles in our fleet too. And everybody's like, whoa, yeah, EVs, let's buy. And that was all she wrote. And then the Dow peaked here in January. So, not confirming, okay, they're not in sync. But then all of a sudden here recently, they've been kind of trending down together. Although I would like to see that, the Dow took out this December and the October lows back here. We haven't seen transports do that yet. I'd like to see that happen to feel like they're even more so in sync. But look at this move that happened on Friday. And even, let me just go back to the home screen and look at this. Okay, that's the weekly picture. Transports were down 875 points basically for the week, and the vast majority of that happened on Friday, down 771 points. Huge, huge move. But look at what happened the last 3 days. Okay, here's Wednesday's close, and then the last 3 days, it was down 7.2% in 3 days. I'm just looking for my notes here, and I don't actually have the actual number of that, but I mean, we were down a little bit over 800 at one point at the actual low, so it's even more so than that. And when we drill down, let me show you the, before I go into some of the individual trucking companies and rail companies, let's take a look at the Elliott wave picture. So I believe the transports peaked out here with that high that occurred back on November 2nd. And let me scroll back. Here's what I'm looking at coming off that March 2009 low. And so I think we've had wave 1 down, a wave 2 pullback in here, and now it sure is looking and acting like it's off and running in a wave 3. We'll see what kind of continuation we get next week. But this is the kind of price action and what you would expect in a wave 3. Wave 3s are usually some of the strongest moves that you're going to see, and especially in an Elliott wave impulse wave, where you're looking for 5 wave moves. The motive waves 1, 3, and 5, usually wave 3 is the strongest. So we'll see what kind of continuation we get next week. When I look at the weekly picture, this is the path forward. Now, right now, we just need to see what kind of wave structure we get on a daily basis and see how it conforms. And there should be no overlap in a 5-wave move down in a wave 3. It needs to be a nice, pure, impulsive wave, no ending diagonal type stuff. That just is not allowed, does not occur in a wave 3. So we'll see what we get. And like I said, what kind of follow through we get for next week. All right, so that is the picture there. Let's take a look at a few of the stocks, the 5 biggest percentage movers that occurred on Friday within the Dow transports. So the number 1 biggest mover was JB Hunt Transports, down 9.6%. And when you look even back a little bit further from the high that occurred on mid-March, March 16th, it's down 16.8%. from close from the high in just, what is it? I don't know, something like 12.2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 trading days. Huge, huge move. And you can see how we've closed right below all these lows. Everything that's happened since November. Very, very big move. Now, Landstar was the next one percentage-wise. Huge move to the downside, down $11 on Friday. And again, it is, basically closing below the top. I didn't put, let me put my the template in here that I like to use. And so you can see the picture of what's happening. I mean, we're definitely getting a pretty strong breakdown. When we look at Norfolk Southern, big move too. Down 19.38, down 6.8%. Landstar was 7.3%. Norfolk Southern down 6.8%. And then when we look at Ryder, right here, it was down $5.34, 6.7%. And the next one within the transports is CXX, and it was down $1.94, but that is 5.2% for the day. So pretty big moves that occurred, and there's a lot of the other trucking companies, a lot of them got hit. I mean, I've seen a lot that were down 6-7% or more that aren't in the transport index. Okay, the last thing I want to take a look at is kind of an update on the Russell 2000 ETF IWM. Let's take a look at that. Okay, here's IWM, and you can see we're up 2.30 on Friday, a little bit of a bounce back after being down for 2 days in a row. The low that occurred back over here on February 24th, we've had a pretty good rally. I think there's a decent chance that it has run its course. We're kind of up into what I'd call a resistance zone. There was definitely a lot of trading that occurred back up in here. It's going to be interesting to see if this can punch through this or not. I just don't think it's good. It's already been repelled once. I just don't think it's going to get through it. And let's put it this way, I'm not expecting it to. When I look at the Elliott wave picture I've got, here's what I've got. I've got this labeled now at that February 24th low. I've got that labeled as the end of minor wave 1 down. And now we have a WXY, kind of a complex. It's basically connecting two zigzag patterns in here, the W and the Y zigzag patterns for a corrective pattern for wave 2. The thing about it though, on the wave 2, it hasn't pulled back all that deep. I mean, we're in that 38.2 to 50% zone. And yeah, this could easily continue to push a little bit higher. Maybe this isn't quite done yet. When I drill down and take a look at it, it makes me think that that it may be. But again, what do we have to see? We got to see continued breakdown in here and starting to take out some of these lows, like right here. The low 202.73, see that breakdown, take that out, and then head south and take out this low down here at 191.88. You just got to see a continuation of that type of that kind of pattern. And of course, all you have to do is extend out a trend line in here, somewhat flat. We break down out of that, pretty much that encompasses the entire corrective pattern that we have so far. We break down out of that, we are going to be well on our way in primary or minor wave 3 to the downside. Okay, so that is the picture there on the Russell 2000, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay, that's it for this video. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit that little subscriber button. And if you'd like more of this kind of information on a daily basis, head on over to joehenches.net. Check out the website, check out the membership. Everyone have a great rest of the weekend and a great week. We'll talk to you on the next video.